Scaling your real estate business isn't about working harder, it's about removing yourself. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to hire another person to start doing some of your work for you. It's actually the opposite. Before you go that route, the most important metric to help you scale is your systems, because whether you have people working with you or you're doing it yourself, if you don't have systems, you're going to get stuck, right? Um, and a lot of people get this backwards. They think the harder they work, the more deals they will create. Going from 24 deals to 50 deals is done through this process with systems and support and help. So oftentimes the agent that's selling 24 homes is working, has a more demanding schedule than the agent who's doing 50 deals because of the way others are helping them, right? So let's look at a few examples. Earlier in my career, when I was doing all parts of the process myself and I realized I was capped out, I started to look at what could I start with for help, right? And one of the first things I looked at was not only my work life but my home life, right? Because the key is you want to participate in activities that grow your business. That's part of your zone of genius, part of what makes you unique, right? You want to spend most of your time doing those things versus the other tasks that don't move the needle, that you do not maybe enjoy, right? So for me, a couple of things I looked at were scheduling showings. I was listing a lot of property, I had a listing focus, and when you have a lot of listings, you get a lot of phone calls from other agents who want to show property, right? And if you're answering every single call and scheduling that manually, then that takes a lot of time, right? So at that point, I decided I'm not going to be that person anymore, right? I was lucky enough to work for a broker who had a showing desk, had a person who answers the phone, and we use showing time. And between the two, I would always route those emails or calls to our show desk person at the office, and they would schedule the showing. They would allow it to happen through showtime or answer the questions about what times were blocked. So that little task saved cumulatively probably 2 hours a week, right? Which doesn't sound like much, but when you add that up over the course of the year, 50 work weeks, you're talking about 100 hours. If you take those 100 hours and put it into generating business, that's substantial. That's substantial, right? Something else I did was looked at the lockbox system, right? Instead of me driving to the listing and picking up the lockbox when the listing sold, I would gift it to the other agent. We would say, hey, you could take the key out and feel free to keep the lockbox for yourself and for future business. And most agents were very grateful for this. So now I did two things. One, I saved that 15, 20 minutes there, 15, 20 minutes back, 40 minutes a lockbox. That really starts to add up over the course of the year. And I helped another agent that can then reuse and repurpose the lockbox. When you start to look at how much a lockbox costs versus how long it takes you to drive there and back, which one's more cost effective? So these are little things that we did before we even started talking about adding support or help or bringing other people into the transaction. So your systems are really important. Number two, again, before you even get into adding support with other people and hiring, number two is having a listings focus. Agents that do 24 deals a year have a buyer focus, which means more than 50% of their business comes from buyers. Agents that do 50 deals a year are more than 50% of their business comes from listings. Why? Because they can control their time, right? They make when you list property, you create the system and the rules, and then the other agents have to participate in that if they want to show your great listing that you've presented. And you know how to present a great listing. That's not the challenge here. The challenge is creating better systems so you have more time to do your zone of genius, right? So the second thing is be listings focused. All of your energy, all of your lead generation is listings, not buyers. The buyers will come. most people watching this video have more than enough buyers in their database right now. They need more inventory to find their buyers. So I got a whole video on that. If you would like to figure out how to do better listing lead gen, write listing lead gen in the comments. I'll send you another video that I've done that dives into those X's and O's. But for the purpose of this video, if you're talking about getting from 24 to 50, having a listings focus is right up there with systems. In fact, I would argue even if your systems are great, if you don't have a listings focus, you're still going to be stuck, because no matter how good your systems are, there's only so many hours in a day, and the buyers take much more time to go out there and show property to. And by the way, when you list property, you're also you're creating the pay that you agree to before you start doing the work. When you're a buyer agent, how many times have you tried to show a listing and they want to try to cut your commission, and then you're put in a situation where your buyer then maybe doesn't want that particular property, right? Because they don't want to come up with the difference, or vice versa. So it allows you to control your income and control your time. Having a listing focus is extremely important. If you have both of those things down and you're still stuck, the next step is adding support. Now, this can be done in a couple of different ways. Yes, you can go out there and hire your own staff, or you can team up, partner with a team, a brokerage who had that support in place and it was already working, right? So 24 to 50 is not a lead generation problem. It is not a time problem. It is a systems, listing focused, and support problem. Once you fix those 3 buckets, give yourself 6 to 9 months, watch your business grow. Now, if you're not sure where to start, or you feel stuck and you've tried some of these things, you want to talk it through, I'm happy to talk that through with you. Text, call, email. I get people reaching out who watch these videos all the time, and I'm always happy to help. Hope this helps.